Hey everyone, I'm sorry I'm not looking too good right now. I just slept for like 5 hours. I also forgot it was Wednesday, so please excuse my kind of disheveledness. What sorts of things can you say to a family member or to a skeptical or unaccepting family member? Friends, resources, facts, general knowledge. If I ever were to encounter that kind of situation, I would just give them facts, straight up facts. And I would talk about my experiences because that's not something that anybody can negate, and that's not something that anybody can argue with because they're mine. So in the transgender community, if I'm trying to explain to somebody being transgender, I mean, I'm not transgender, but if I am dealing with somebody, because it does tend to be more unaccepted than being a lesbian, and so I'll be like, I'll just relate to them. Like, okay, if somebody's like, transgender is ridiculous, like, blah, 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 you can be like, okay, so picture yourself exactly as you are. Exactly as you are. Same exact mind, same exact everything, except you were the opposite gender. Wouldn't that suck? And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, well, that's how they feel. I've done that before. You could talk about the Kinsey scale and how Alfred Kinsey was a man who thought that the human sexuality was a spectrum of 0 to 5 or 6, and 0 is strictly 100% heterosexual, and 5 or 6 was strictly homosexual, and that only like 10% of the population fall between those two extremes, and everybody else is somewhere in the middle. And that's a really, really good thing to kind of bring to the table, because it's like, see, you probably like girls a little bit too. People who say it's against the Bible, it's against the Lord, Jesus' way, you can just be like, well, I mean, the Bible does say no haircuts and no tattoos, and if you marry someone, if the woman you marry, if you're male, if you marry someone who isn't a virgin, then she must be stoned to death. There's a lot of things that we don't follow in the Bible anymore. Don't do it in a confrontational fashion. You have to just sit down with them and relate to them, have a conversation about it, maybe do it over time. You can be like, yes, I see where you're coming from, like, I've struggled with that too. You just have to make it relatable and easy. You don't need them to 100% like be like, gay all the way, yay, like pride, pride, pride. But you just need them to try to begin to understand you. Where is your sweet spot? So I feel kind of weird saying this for the world to see. Okay, so my sweet spot, this might be weird, but I love hands. My hands, like, if somebody kisses my hand, oh my goodness, like, I literally go weak in the knees, and, like, or, like, kisses my fingers, like, you know how to deal with my hands, and, like, we are golden, we are in good shape. I'm, like, stroking myself. Okay. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely Wednesday, and I'm sorry this was so jumbled, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. Bye!